friends, how are you? This is your girl Lee coming to you with another channeled message. Really piggybacking off of the previous transmission. And what prompted this conversation that we're about to have is me putting away. I was putting away. Let me turn this fan on. 1 second. Okay, yes. So I was putting the cards away after the last reading, and there is a deck that I will just forever have because I got it during the pandemic. It was delayed for months because it was like in the middle of the pandemic, and this is by Tatiana Bedenkina. She's from Russia, and it took me months and months and months, and I had gotten frustrated because I was like, I didn't think it was coming anymore, right? So it came, and it has. I'm so happy that she didn't cancel it. Or she wasn't going to cancel it. She was like, it's already sent. I can't control she couldn't control the courier system at the time, and none of us could, right? It was the middle of literally the center, the height of the pandemic. But anyway, as I was putting that particular deck away, that's when I was giving you the different goddesses that came through. It's called a moonlight deck, so it was a part of the new moon reading. And anyway, there was a card that was left inside, and this was the card: space. Hold space for your difficult emotions. And whenever I'm doing this, sure, I have a good time, but I never just want to be doing it to do it. Like I really, the intention is for those who tap in to really get something out of it that helps them move forward. And that just got me to thinking about where I'm at in my spiritual journey versus where other people may be at. And I never want to move too fast where I'm leaving people behind, okay? And because I've already gone through the motions of where the level at where you may currently be at. So anyway, I say all that to say that shadow work has been pouring out of these readings, pouring out of my mouth. Like I feel like that's all I'm asking constantly is like, meditate, shadow work, meditate, shadow work. But what does that really mean, right? Like, what does that really look like for someone who's never sat still with their own mind? So when I'm asking you to face yourself and do this and do that, I imagine that could be difficult because maybe you've never done that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Meditation, right? A lot of people think that meditation equals like having a clear mind and, sitting still and yeah, just moving from a place of like this and om. And sure, you can do all of those sounds and vibrations. They are quite helpful. They are the language of the universe, right? Like they are. That's why they're used. However, if you've never even looked at your own mind with the intention of understanding it, someone telling you to meditate, I'm sure, can come off as off-putting. And so I also want to talk about shadow work and its purpose. And I do feel like I addressed this in another reading a few months ago on YouTube, but I'm going to address it here. as far as having, I talked about, I believe, having a healthy, I said we talk about mental health, right? So that would be the meditation and understanding your thoughts. And then, but we don't talk about like an ego health. And that's what I came up with in the, like in real time. And I'm like, no, because we gotta focus on our ego health as well. And the only way for me, I've come to understand, is like the only way for us to understand the ego and work with it is to participate in shadow work. And the participation of shadow work is easier once you have begun to meditate and observe your own thoughts. That's all meditation is. You are observing the thoughts that are running, okay, on a daily basis, so that you can understand that maybe something you're saying to yourself may be the thing that's triggering you and causing an emotional disruption somewhere. So, a little exercise for you is to find 10 minutes. I don't want to hear I don't have the 10 minutes. Everybody has 10 minutes. And if you don't have it, you're a creator, right? We're creating the lives that we want. This is a part of it. You're gonna make time in the amount of 10 minutes, okay, every day. And you are going to just simply sit still, no interference. I don't mind like the aura music, like I have it playing right now as well. But if you can do complete silence, that is even better. And you're just gonna observe your thoughts. See, because the thing is, your mind is not in control of you. Our minds are not in control of us. Contrary to popular belief, actually the gut, your stomach and your heart send more waves to your mind than your mind does to the rest of your body, or to the heart and the gut. Okay, so that's when people are like, oh, I had a gut feeling that this was gonna happen, or they just feel it intensely, like within their heart. It's because the signals are being sent up to the brain and not the other way around. So that is also why shadow work is important, because if something is sitting on your heart and that vibrates at a higher frequency than the brain telling the heart to do, the heart is telling the brain what to do, then I think it's in our best interest to address what's happening here and here within our bodies. Okay, so and just to give you a quick background, like the first time I attempted to meditate, I got ready, I cleaned. I remember that was like a day I cleaned, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this practice. I'm just gonna do the thing. And I laid on the floor, and I think this one was much longer. It was like 20 minutes. And I was like, I could lay on the floor for 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes. I could do that. Baby, my body fought me. I started to almost hyperventilate just from laying still on the floor in my bedroom. So that taught me a lot, because I stuck with it. I didn't stop, because I'm like, well, why am I hyperventilating if I'm just trying to simply breathe on the floor? Nothing's happening. I'm not in danger. I don't feel anxious, but I did. My body felt anxious. My mind, I'm sure, is the thing that was really causing the anxiety, because I had to be still. And in a world where we are constantly called to be productive, and if you're not productive, then you ain't shit. That starts to breed a belief that is not in alignment with many of our callings, many of our natures. Like, it may not be your nature to constantly be under a bunch of production. You're not a machine. I mean, we are. All right, that's another conversation. We're machines, but okay, we're like biotechnology. So that bio part is important, because that's where the organic information or the organic aspect of us, where it takes precedence, where it is incorporated into our overall makeup, right? So as I stated, I was on the ground and I'm literally like trying to find breath just in meditating. So I love to tell that story because don't think that meditation equals like you're gonna get it right the first time. That's why it's called a practice, because it's something you have to practice. If you've never done it all your life and now you're an adult saying I'm gonna start this new thing that basically states I'm gonna control this apparatus that is a part of me, I'm gonna control it, or I'm gonna start to understand it. That's a deeper conversation for why resistance shows up. We're not going there right now. Right now, we just want to stay. Let's take it step by step. Find 10 minutes. Sit still. Lie still. I like to lie down when I meditate. Oh, if you can't even find it, if you can't do it throughout the day, it is wonderful to meditate like right before sleep. You could even meditate to sleep. That is also a strategy. Or you could do it like before you touch your phone and you know that you are awake. You say, this is how you set your day. This is how you set the tone for your day. Because so many of us get hijacked by this thing first thing in the morning, and then by these things, the phones and the technology, and we're like, oh, let me check. You don't need to check anything at the top of the day except yourself, so that you know what space you're operating from, and if you need to go deeper, then you can go deeper. So I say all that to say, take the 10 minutes and just you're simply observing your thoughts. We're gonna start there. You don't have to do anything about them if you don't want to investigate further, but just to say that you have the awareness of what is on replay in your mind is very, very important. That will help you make changes in other areas of your life. I promise. I've heard a lot of negative things from religious people who practice religion, and with regard to meditation, and even some science that I don't even know where these studies, because I didn't see them, but just in conversations that I hear that, meditation can cause psychosis, it can cause this, it can cause that. None of that has ever been a thing for me. I genuinely, I can understand how that could happen, but if you've never meditated, then you're nowhere near what that could be. So for me, it's been a healthy practice. It's been something that has helped me grow and learn and understand myself and the people I'm attracting, or the experiences that I'm attracting. So this card just made me want to dive in deeper to that, because we need you to get to the shadow work. Okay. We need you to get to the shadow work so that you are able to propel your life forward. Many of you are stuck in cycles, loops, karmic relationships, karmic dynamics, simply because you won't observe your own mind and what it is saying to you. And I remember I used to mentor these young girls a few years back, and that was one of my prompts, was like, well, who taught? They would come and they would say whatever was on their heart that was bothering them, and they're becoming and growing up growing from a little girl to a woman it's not easy, and I imagine for men it's not easy as well. but just this is the group I was working with, and so I can speak to that. It could be so volatile growing up as a woman, because there are all these like little silent contracts that you don't know you participate in, and navigating that as a young person with no guidance, forget it. Like, you, prayers up. Okay, so I just remember asking, I gave him a prompt and I was like, well, who taught you to hate yourself? Let's call a thing and let's start at the top. Like, who taught you to hate yourself? So many of us would be surprised at these beliefs that we are just so tied to, that came from someone else. It came from our upbringing. It came from teachers. It came from friends, even, who were programmed by their families. Like, let's take inventory of what's happening up here so we can decide if that is true for you today. So we are going to hold space for the difficult emotions. And the only way to truly observe the root of them is to meditate and get acquainted with your mind and the story that you are continuously telling yourself. That is the loop. The loop is the story that you are telling yourself. And there's a very like maternal energy that is surrounding you at this time. So, it could be, energies that are a part of your network. It could be grandmothers, mothers. It's a very nurturing energy right now that is surrounding you, and the only way for you to decipher their voice from yours is if you know what your voice sounds like in your own mind. This is how people end up going, I don't want to use the C word because that's rude to say, but they end up having a lot of challenges mentally because there are other things playing in your mind. And that's really serious to speak to right now. It's like, there's so much happening at one time. There are so many different kinds of entities walking around, and they are snatching bodies. Like, if you were dealing with someone and they just completely went another direction out of nowhere, that person just got hijacked by a lower energy. And as a result, you interacting with that person, you are now also opening yourself up to that entity as well. So now is the time. That's why people are losing their cools. People are like literally just behaving like completely different people. And it's even worse if you don't take care of your body, you drink a lot, you smoke a lot. Marijuana pokes holes in our auric fields. It's not just our bodies. You ever just had, I'm sure you have, because I'm talking to you, and if we similar, you know what I mean? When people feel you before you come in the room, or you enter the room and you're quiet, minding your business, but that person just keeps, you find them looking at you and they're just staring. Or a dog, animal just comes up to you and just sits by you. You've never met the animal. Or people come to you and they're telling you their life story, and all you said was hello. That literally happened to me. I walked into a dispensary one time and I'm like, oh, we've always, and I had visited a few times, and I always talked to the person, but we never, I never asked his name. Like, I'm like, man, we speak all the time every time I come in here, and I never even asked you your name. And he starts going off into a soliloquy about how the reason why he didn't give me the name. It was so much. Like, I just was stuck like this. Because I'm like, did I say something wrong? Was it my tone? Like, I didn't need all this explanation, but that just points me to a the trauma of needing to, over explain and all that. So I did understand that within the moment, and I wasn't upset or anything. I was just like, dang, like I felt I felt empathetic toward him in that time, in that moment. But it's not unusual for me to come across strangers, perfect strangers, who want to tell me their life story. So if this is also you, because I am not on an island alone, I know that, then yeah, this is your calling to start to meditate. Because if, especially again, as I was saying before, you are participating in alcohol drinking and marijuana smoking, that makes you even more sensitive and vulnerable to external energies entering the body by way of the chakra system that I also spoke about in the last reading. So if you're new to chakras, you're new to meditation, you're new to shadow work, this is the technology that helps us govern ourselves and cease the hijacking by manipulative people, abusive people, aliens, okay, external energies, okay? So if, and because these types of people, they know that you don't know yourself. That's why they use your own mind against you. So the stronger you get up here, the less accessible you are to being manipulated. So I don't know, that just needed to come through. But you know, you are being asked to hold space for your difficult emotions, and I'm just gonna pull a few cards just to see, you know, more or less like what that may look like for you, to at least maybe point you in a direction. That was 22 when I said that. I'm pulling from the surrender deck at this time. What does the collective need to surrender at this time? Okay. Okay. Surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. The next card out directly after that. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Right after that, surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. And finally, surrender to success. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. Surrender negative thinking. I always put like an extra. It's supposed to be 4, but so what is that saying? I just said be still. I did say that, right? That you are being called to be still. And then when you're in your stillness, maybe you want to consider why you desire to be in control all the time. At what point in your life weren't you in control, where probably some traumatic shit happened to you, and now you feel like if you're not controlling things, that you are not safe? That leads me back to the previous reading again, where it was talking about protection, your root chakra not being, your root chakra being either blocked, or just, it could be, they spin these discs, right? They spin clockwise. They could spin counterclockwise. And when it's counterclockwise, that is when you're in trouble, because anything is possible, then. It could be what you're listening to, who you're listening to, what you are feeding your body, right? So all of these things, we brush it off, for those of us who aren't into it, as woo-woo things, but they're literally running our lives, whether we want to believe it or not. I said what I said. So in your stillness, you could consider your desire to control people, which also is like a segue to comparing yourself to them too, because now that may be why you are feeling the desire to control them, because you're comparing yourself to them, or comparing them to you. And if they're not in alignment with you, then you somehow are making them the op. You're making them an enemy in your mind when you don't need to. When you let go of all of these things, you will be able to find success within yourself. Surrender to success. Surrender negative thinking. Okay? All of these, I'm going to call them issues or perspectives, came from somewhere. It is our job to figure out where they came from. Period. Does this resonate with me? Is this serving me in a positive way? And if not, let me work to make the changes. That's where the shadow work comes in. And so let's say you do have a thing with controlling people, and then you finally accept that, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just something that you feel you've had to do, or you've been conditioned to practice, right? You've been conditioned to practice, you've been conditioned to practice controlling other people, and that has become your identity. Now you're going to practice releasing them. Now you're going to surrender comparing yourself to them, or comparing them to you. You're going to focus on yourself and your own thoughts, and why you're attracting this experience in the first place. That's why you're still in the loop. Remember the loop I kept talking about last week? Loop-a-dee-loop-de-loop. Not last week, last reading. Yeah, that's how you come out of the loop. And once you are able to find the wound, oh, when I was 7, this and this and this happened to me. When I was 5, this and this and this happened to me. When I was 9, this and this and this happened to me. Then you can look at it, and this is where the shadow work comes in, and you say, let me talk through this with myself. Let me get a journal and journal about this thing and how it made me feel, and as a result, what those feelings have caused me to do and be, the ways of being, right? So that's how this thing goes hand in hand, and can lead you to just experiencing a better life, and obviously that's if you feel like it, because there are people who are in their shit and they're okay with the shit that they're in. I am not that person. You're gonna come here with the intention of growth and sometimes the growth looks like facing yourself and accepting your shit and holding yourself accountable. Protection came out again. Okay, I just want to... You know what else it leads to? Oh, that's so beautiful. Because that's also what keeps coming through. Baby, you gotta forgive yourself. Forgiveness. Forgive the situation. Because you're a leader. And it's time to not move from a space of confinement, but freedom. I cannot... I'm gonna cry. It's every single time. Let's see what's at the bottom. Potential. potential. Freedom leads to the potentiality of all things. You could go in any direction after that, right? After you're not being bogged down by the past. Okay, these would read together. Surrender your desire to control people. Forgive. Forgiveness, baby. Forgive yourself. Forgive them. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you participate in anything with them. It's not asking you to invite them back into your life. It's not asking you to keep them in your life. It's just simply saying, I no longer want this to run my life. The freedom is here for you. I'm telling you, everything is like pointing toward your success. Like, if you tuning in to readings and all these things, like, why aren't you doing what the reader is asking? I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, or that's what is coming through. This is all in an effort for you to hold space for you, because you matter. Okay, it's gonna give fluff here sometimes too. Fluff is okay. Like, the world is so serious all the time, and thus it's triggering us and making us so serious all the time. And who wants to live like that? Communication is key. That's the throat chakra. Work through your fears. Again, that came up in the last reading. There's that throat chakra. Oh. Anything else? Because I could just pull it. Oh, okay. Okay. You may have things on your mind that you are, oh, all right. They're like, all right. You're very close to achieving your goal. Conclusions are within reach. Be bold and make the first move. Work through your fears. Communication is key. You must learn to, and if we look, this says new moon in Gemini, so you could be a Gemini. If you are, this, if this is resonating with you, this reading is for you. But I say all that to say, you see, she is closing her eyes still. It's still telling you to surrender to non-action, both with blues and greens. I just want to also point that out. Okay, so she's having to get to know herself. You gotta start communicating with yourself so that you can work through your fears. Maybe a Scorpio. Okay? And again, the moon is calling, this new moon energy is calling for you to just get into that subconscious, get into those emotions, and really give yourself the time and space that you need in order to be a generational curse breaker. See, a lot of us underestimate that too. We're saying it. It's like become like this buzz statement. Like, oh, I'm gonna break generational curses. You're gonna have to accept what that takes. It's not pretty. And it's not solely within the world of attaining things and material things. That's not the generational curse breaking. Most of the time, it's your thoughts and your beliefs, your morals and your values, and where those were shaped, where they come from, and how they came to be for you in your life. That's generational curse breaking. And it's ugly. And You know what makes it easier, though, to break a generational curse? If you know what you're working with. Not from an external place where you're constantly looking at, let's say, your family, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, whoever, right? The adults in your life, who were the adults, raising you as a child. It's gonna take for you to just take a step back and look at you. As it's stated here, to more effectively achieve your goals that are within reach. Back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Focus on yourself. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. You can't focus on those things if you're constantly focusing on the negative things that you picked up, okay? So, that's why shadow work is important. And I'm just gonna say that if you the more shadow work you do, the easier it is to break that generational curse, because you'll know what you're looking at when it presents itself, as opposed to being confused like a deer in headlights. Like, you don't know how you got to a place. I've been there. I know. I'm not, speaking at you. We are in this together. I could read cards for myself. Like, I don't need to get on here and I could have just had this conversation with myself. But I cannot be the only one. I know I'm not. There were so many readings from other readers that have gotten me through my meditation practice. Shout out to my meditation coach. Okay, Christos, you tap in with him, Kadash Meditations. This is a serious, like, my life completely changed. Let me calm down. My life completely changed when I started tapping in with that gentleman and understanding the energies that I am working with, that have been working with me, that have been controlling me, that have been limiting me. And it's a process. This is, for me, healing, I don't think it's ever a destination. I think there's always just going to be ways that you grow and evolve as your life progresses, and new experiences happen, new relationships come about, new things new ways of being that may be required of you, in order, again, for you to achieve your goals. We can't move from the same places, and that's where that generational curse breaking comes from. Because if you know that every time somebody got upset, they went upside somebody's head, and you witnessed that growing up, and then, like, you adapted that as a way to exist in the world and handle situations, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's not gonna work anymore. At least not for a favorable outcome, right? That can leave the door open to so many other experiences I'm sure you don't want to have. So because it doesn't feel good too. A lot of these things, people are acting like it feels good to them. It doesn't. And if it does, then you're dealing with something else. But yeah, that shadow work is important. And when you do it, you're doing it with love. I don't know if you can tell, but this woman is holding her heart. That's to let you know where the difficult emotions, where they lie. They lie in the heart space. So when I'm telling you, expand the heart, expand it. It's easier for me to say that but not necessarily easier for you to receive when you're moving from a constricted place. Okay, the heart is heavy. So how can it expand? The only way for it to get lighter is to face it and do the shadow work and just undo the damage. So, I don't always say this, I don't want to make it too long, but I did just feel like it was important to address that. I'm not talking at you when I am saying, oh, do these things like it's so easy. No, it's hard AF. It is hard AF. It has been very, very difficult, And it is not for the faint at heart. It's not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat, and I'm not gonna fluff it, right? Like, transforming your life takes hard work, and you have to be willing to do it. And I think the sooner that you can get it done, is the easier life will be for you down the line. Just gonna pull, I don't know what y'all want me to do. A little bit of faith goes a long way. I'll pull some from here. Let's see what else they're wanting me to just make sure I touch. I want to make sure I hit everything that I wanted to say. That'd be the thing too. Like, I'll listen back and I'm like, oh, I should have went deeper into that. So that's what this that's what this is. Because it's still the energy of the week. Yeah. See, I don't feel like that's too many. Come on, guys. Stop trying to carry the world on your shoulders. Give yourself some credit for doing a good job at this whole life thing, living thing. Because you may feel like, okay, see, he's in a suit. You might feel a little alienated, but just look at the world. Look at it. Look at all that is available to you. Okay? That red color's at the top again. Okay? Get present with yourself. Trust yourself always. Trust others once they've earned it. Stop just giving yourself away to people. Because they're going to do anything with you. They're going to do whatever you allow. I'm going to pull one last one. Find ways to lighten up and not take everything so seriously. Didn't I say that? Everything is so serious. Everybody wants you to be serious. I don't feel like it. I want to be a goofball. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to be so serious all the time, but we can only get to that once we've uncovered what's keeping us stuck there in the first place. I do want to go back to the Goddess deck just because that energy of the mother is healing. Welcome healing into your mind, body, and life. The number 11 may be significant for you. But again, that heart, lighten up. Okay? Baby, it's time. Time for you to hold space for all of that shit you've been suppressing. But now let's move from a healed space and not a space of destruction. Take action again. The act is, I'm going to, Ishtar came out again. Goddess of love, passion, war, and justice. You may be expecting some justice on your end. It's coming. It's coming. And she's supporting you. Oh, and you may be a Leo. You may be a Leo. There were so many lions. That's what I was like, oh, I didn't even, because I had just too many cards, but it needed to come out. But lions, see, she is surrounded by the lioness and the lion. So, universal love, by the way, that was the one that came out just now. Choose love, it says. That's what I've been saying. And I love that for us. You are. Embrace the magic of your being. And you can only get to the magic once you've uncovered all of the gook and muck and transformation. Red again. Ah! I can't make it up! I can't. But, yes, I think I'm going to pull from the affirmation deck and be done because we going. I acknowledge my fear, this came out again, and allow it to flow through me. Fear may have a lesson for me, but love is what drives me. choose love. Forgiveness. You are protected, my love. It's okay. It's safe for you to be you. That's what I be coming back to. Like, it's safe for you to just exist as yourself. You don't have to perform for people anymore. Those days are done. It has not served you. In fact, it just has it just has caused more stress. My understanding of the darkness allows me to realize the light. Can't make it up. I can't. Because I'm not. It's coming through me. The truth that you need to hear. Okay? Understanding the darkness, not being afraid of the darkness, not shying away from the darkness, understanding it within you so that it no longer is running your life and controlling you. I'm willing to forgive myself more deeply than ever. You know, when you go to that dark place, because you will, I have faith. I have faith, and I have a knowing that you are listening to this reading, you're watching it, and you are choosing you. I forgive myself for being so hard on myself, for all of that pressure. I am more than enough. So let's count how many times you've been asked to forgive so far. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Okay, 3 times. 3 times in this reading has forgiveness come up. Baby, it's time to do your shadow work. It just is. Usually I leave you with an activity to do, but I think I've already told you I've given you enough activities, so I'm not going to pull from there. I can't make it up. Okay, I am brave enough to embrace my full potential, even when others don't approve or understand. Potential. All right, that's it. I'm not gonna pull no more. I'm not. I think I've said enough. Get to the meditation. Get to working through what's on your heart so that you can expand it and call in, so that you can expand the heart. Let me be clear. That way you're able to attract the things that you desire. Our auric fields, the field that I was talking about, that, you know, once you're sitting next to someone for like, I think they're like 3 minutes, your auras start to communicate with each other. That's how we can feel another person's energy most of the time, right? That energy, it emanates from here, it begins here in the heart. So, and then it projects itself outwards, like around us, like a little bubble. What affects how far that auric field is able to travel, which could be 100 yards. I just want to say that, I believe, or it's 100 feet, whatever, 100 something. Look it up. It's far. It could be big, depending on what you've worked through here. Get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm going to trust that you're gonna take the guidance and you're gonna go transform your life today. Doesn't need to be big. It could be a small things. A small goal. Set a small goal for yourself. today I won't get triggered by this, because now I understand, since I've done some shadow work, I understand why I get triggered. So now I get to make a different choice. The goddess Sekhmet might be significant to you as that warrior spirit, but she's been coming up heavily. Mother Mary's been coming up heavily. I've mentioned Ishtar. Yeah. Also your own family members that have passed on, your ancestors, are trying to reach out to you, but they can't because there's no room. So that's your 555 when I said that. That is your calling on today, is to make room, make space for the things that are going to serve you positively in your life. I love you. This is Lee and my Lotus Effect. We will commune again soon. I love you. Have a fantastical day. And you got this. You got this. You got this. Bye.